we're not indecisive. It feels like we're indecisive, but overthinking is what's happening. We're just afraid of making the wrong choice, of making the wrong decision. And I think part of it is that we're well aware of consequences that happen when you do the wrong thing. Overthinking is your brain's way of protecting you, of trying to help you make sure you make the choice that you'd be happy with. Just sometimes it gets a little carried away. A lot of the times overthinking comes from being invalidated at a very young age. You hated getting things wrong, and so you tried your best to be perfect, to always, show up as perfect, as, the one who gets it right, because you either really liked the praise or you just really hated getting judged or getting it wrong. And after that happening for a long time or over and over and over again, it gets instilled in you. Yes, you don't want to be judged. You don't want to fail. Failing doesn't feel good. You're also worried that conflict might happen, that you might get in trouble. You might cause a problem, especially if it's not really just you being the only one involved, if there's other people involved. You overthink because you're thinking about everybody else. You're thinking about what's happening, who's involved, how things can go, how bad things can go, how good things can go, what's the likelihood of it going in whichever way. And because of doing all of this for so long, you've kind of learned to overanalyze instead of just trust yourself. It's kind of become a second nature thing for you, instead of just knowing. And it's not that you know what is right or what is wrong, but you know what you want to do, what to do with the information that you have. But, childhood kind of messed you up. That's not your fault. But what is your responsibility is how to overcome it now, how to work through it now, how to heal that part of you now. For some people, overthinking becomes as normal and natural of a trauma response as fight, flight, freeze, fawn. A lot of people don't even acknowledge that. I think it's time we start acknowledging where overthinking comes from and how to start working through it. I don't think anybody really talks about what overthinking feels like. It is exhausting, it is painful, it is confusing. It's like you have several people in your brain arguing with each other. Everything is so conflicting, and it's kind of one of those things where when you're trying to give somebody a solution and they always have a rebuttal. That to me is what overthinking feels like. It also feels like tiny people, and the more they argue, the bigger, the more they grow. And it starts to get to a point where my brain just feels like there's a huge mass inside with nowhere to go. There's no more space left in my head, and I'm very close to exploding. And that's kind of where an impulse reaction kind of happens sometimes. Or I just shut down because I don't know what else to do. I can't even deal with what's happening in my head. You never get any rest. I don't know what deep sleep feels like. I feel like the only time I've probably ever experienced deep sleep, which I don't even know if this was real deep sleep, is when I've been really drunk and you just you're knocked out. You don't even know that you're sleeping. You obsess over conversations. I have plenty of conversations before they happen. I practice conversations. I practice different responses. I play them out. I obsess over previous conversations that I've had and what I could have said better. I obsess over what somebody's intentions actually were, what they said and what they really meant, because in the moment I could think it's something that it's not. And I've done that. We're human. If you're not explaining something directly and I have to go based off of your tone, based off of the words you decide to use, based off of your facial reactions, based off your body language, I'm getting a lot of information there. So the safest thing to do is to take all that information in and figure it out. In that moment though, I don't have a lot of time because a lot of people want answers right away, or they react right away instead of taking a second to breathe and say something or think about their thoughts before they actually share them. It's hard. And so sometimes I think about how I did stuff later and I try to remember for next time, okay, well, if somebody ever says anything like this again, maybe we should take a second to react, be the one to take the breath if nobody else is going to be the one, I take a lot of accountability for my actions. I am absolutely the kind of person that I think about how I did things later, and I want to make sure if there was something that I did that I shouldn't have, I don't ever do it again. You delay a lot of things because you want to make sure you're ready. You feel like since you have all these questions, since you don't have all the parts, you don't have everything put together, that means you're not ready. Therefore, you shouldn't do what you do. But the overthinking is actually keeping you from being ready, because sometimes you become more ready with the experience. You don't have to know all the information in order to be ready. Sometimes you showing up is ready enough. And it sucks. It sucks that overthinking takes so many opportunities away from people who are very well deserving of those opportunities. What ifs are louder than our instincts, which is one of the saddest things that I have ever come across in my life and have ever witnessed in other people, especially people that I'm like, oh my gosh, no, please, no, listen to your gut. Your gut knows what it wants. Your gut knows the right move. The what if should not be the determining factor. The experience should be the determining factor. You can go experience it, find out that it's not the right thing to do, and then you walk away, you leave, you go and make a better decision. Like, life is about experiences. Stop trying to only go for the safe thing. Sometimes it's about taking the risk. The what if is not meant to take that away from you. If overthinking is hard to stop, okay, but don't let it be the reason for making the wildest, misaligned decisions for you. So I've been working on combating my overthinking, and I have my own special ways of doing it. Honestly, I feel like it's a lot about getting to know you. I created a vision binder because something that I do, something that is part of my overthinking, is that I do more planning and then I become so paralyzed that I don't actually execute what I've planned. That is a problem for me because I have too much happening in my head that I need to execute to make room for new things to be in my head. I also learned that when it came to meal prepping, I limited myself so much. I created restrictions that were very much not there, that were literally made up. I couldn't have certain foods for breakfast because breakfast foods were specific for breakfast. I couldn't have them for dinner, and I couldn't have dinner foods for breakfast. I had to have a certain amount of certain things because otherwise it was imbalanced or otherwise it wasn't good for me. Fruits are a breakfast thing or a snack thing. Vegetables are a lunch or dinner thing. I just created so many restrictions, so many, this is the only way to do it, this is the right way to do it, you're doing it wrong. I was struggling to hit like, I don't know, I think it was like 120 grams of protein a day. I was struggling with that. I experimented on one day and was just like, today I'm just going to eat whatever I want and I'm going to calculate it at the end of the day. I wrote how much I did of what down and I calculated at the end of the day. I hit all my macros. Overthinking limits you. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help you make better decisions. Sometimes it comes in handy, I'm not gonna lie. But most times it doesn't. It ends up just taking up a lot of your time. It's stressful and stress kills and it ages you. So if you care about that, you should stop overthinking. It's creating wrinkles. I personally don't care about aging, but I do care about health. Sometimes I journal. It's not something that I do a lot of the time, but I am working through it. I'm trying to figure out my journaling style. I am implementing more brain dumps because of my overthinking. It definitely does help. I do feel a weird sense of relief. And I say weird because I don't know if it's a phenomenon or if it's a real thing. Kind of feels like pressure in the brain being let out. You never realize how much it's affecting you until you do it, and then you're like, whoa. Any type of breath work. I haven't done a lot of that, but meditation has been helping me a lot too, or just taking a moment. Even if it only gives you some type of relief for a little bit, it's better than never. After having this conversation with you guys, it kind of seems like the overthinking or just like the thoughts, maybe they don't necessarily have to go away. Maybe the solution is to trust yourself more. Maybe the only issue is that you don't necessarily feel safe in your own body, in your own ability to make decisions. So maybe it's not about like, let's just get rid of the thoughts. Maybe it's just about listening to them and making decision based off of the information you know. You're never gonna know everything. Accepting that could be part of the solution. Sometimes you just have to experience whatever it is you're meant to experience and learn from it. Because we don't grow if we don't learn from what we're doing. Start small. It could be, is today a gym day? Am I gonna journal today? Am I gonna get right out of bed, or am I gonna sit in bed for another 10 minutes? Am I gonna read my book today? Or you could be like me for some things and take your decision making out of it. Let me show you what I mean by that. So I kind of took decision making out of my responsibility when it comes to filling up time. Like, say I had a couple of hours today where I was doing nothing, but I wanted to do something and I just had all these ideas of what I could do, which can leave me paralyzed and I end up doing nothing for those 2 hours. But when I'm realizing that I am struggling to make an actual decision, I just go to my boredom box and I can pick something out that'll help me decide what to do. So let's say I have 2 hours to kill. Let's see. What does the boredom jar want me to do? Okay, 2 hours to kill. Oh my gosh, am I gonna struggle? Make a snack. How fun. Cute, right? Okay, 2 hours to kill. I'm gonna make a snack. It could be like a fun homemade thing that I look up on TikTok. It could be just something that I do with whatever I have in my cabinet and make a fun little thing. It could be whatever I want. Just trust yourself or create something that helps you make decisions until you get to the point of trusting yourself. If you have any life hacks or any easy ways that help you to combat your overthinking, share them with us because we could all use some help along the way. Hope to see you guys in the next conversation.